guys, how are you? My name is Alba. I'm the team leader of the consultancy team of the ESTs, and I will be presenting a session called oGV Timeline. The expectations of this session are that you understand better the timeline of oGV during the whole year and the focuses per month, that you understand how will be your experience and you learn how to think strategy. So as a disclaimer, I will say that you need to be aware that I will be presenting a certain timeline with focuses per month that will change depending on when you have exams, holidays, etc. So please don't take this as something rigid, but adapt it to your own reality. Okay. So like warning, as talking from my own experience, I would like you to say that don't give anything for granted. Like in general, with regards to the timeline or when you plan, don't think anything for granted. Don't assume anything, but learn to trust in your team and especially learn to work with them and fight for your dream. So like if you have something that you really, really, really want to achieve, don't be afraid if it's too much or like if it looks too far away at the beginning, but work for it. But also be realistic. So for example, in terms of signups, they normally take from 2 to 4 weeks to convert from sign up to applicant. So when you picture the timeline in your mind, don't forget this. Have a clear goal and fight for it, and don't just play and plan numbers, but plan actions. Because at the end, what you will be doing are actions, and then the numbers or the people will come afterwards. And also, what isn't planned won't happen. And then this is something that you need to assume now, and as soon as you know it better, because it's much better that you overplan so that you are really bitchy at the beginning, asking your members and team leaders to specify every goal, every person that is going to an activity, all the people that are attending it, because at least like this you will understand better what is going to happen and you will be able to adapt better, and also be aware of your resources. Okay, so now if we start into the year, February, it's almost the middle of February, but you still have 2 weeks, and it's one of the most important months of your experience because it's the beginning of everything. So, like, some of the LCs have already done it, others will do it soon, depending on when your league takes place. But it's really important that you prepare a deep and strong education for your team leaders and team members, because they don't know anything about ISEC, about how we do what we do, about anything. And this is something that it's better that they know or like have a clear picture in their mind of how it works at the beginning before actually starting the work, because otherwise they sometimes feel like really lost during the first months and they aren't productive because they don't have the necessary knowledge to or skills to deliver it. If you will realize that after 4 months or with your experienced members, they are much more productive than the new ones, and it's because they don't have the newbies don't have the practice. So at least if you give them a good and through education, they will start like from a better position. And also, now that you have blank pages in your team leaders, you can establish a clear routine per weeks or per days, in terms of attraction or consideration. So, for example, what I used to do with my team, or like every one of my teams used to do, is that they had a day of the week where all of the members were available to do something. It could be an attraction activity or a consideration activity, but it was like a working time. Also, this month, you will be having the leaks and the coaching visits. So my recommendation is that during the coaching visit, you plan an area meeting because it's also a good touch point between the MC and your members, and the MC can help you to educate them or deliver a given session. And like onboarding, it's education of team leaders. So start, don't just like give theoretical education, but like try to do an active or an onboarding with with action. So for example, you first teach them how to do a shout or how to do an stand, and then you do it actually, so that they will learn by doing, which is always better. And also be creative with your offline channels of attraction and online, because I'm aware that some universities have holidays this month, so it's really important that you start attracting having EPs, because March and April are the peak of approvals in Europe, and for Spain they should be also. And as I mentioned at the beginning, EPs don't just convert from one week to another. They need some time to think about the project and everything. And also have your international relations clear and do the first Skype with them. So February, like in a sentence, is something like really new, exciting, really intense, but just like fight your fears and trust your team. Don't let like the unknown stop you, okay? Don't be aware to ask for help, to ask for something that you don't understand, etc. You have an EB, you have a commission, you have an MC, and they are here to help you. Okay, then March. It's also a super important month. Okay, this is something a little bit tricky about the timeline here in Spain, but you start your vice president experience in the most intense part of the year in terms of approvals, because we are having summer peak, which is the time of the year where more realizations happen. So, especially for March and April, you will be approving the highest amount of EPs of your experience, and this needs to go right really fast. And for this, you need a lot of EPs. So, like, invest a lot of energy and resources during March to have signups, especially the first 3 weeks, so that then at the end of March and during April, you are able to convert them. And especially for the conferences Everex Pro and WeStep, keep in mind that you will have an acting together. So like you will have time to work alongside with your team and engage your members to go there to WeStep, because they will learn a lot. And for the VPs that are new and that have never been in a conference, highly recommend to push your members and team leaders to go to the conferences, because they learn a lot. Especially for the members, they understand much better what Isaac is when they attend a conference, because they see that it's much huge than their city or their LC. Yes, and also it's the peak of approvals in Europe. That means that all LCs in Europe will be crazy approving people. And also in March and April, IXP will be probably happening. This is the campaign or discount campaign for the members of Isaac to go into an experience. Yes, and so March will be the first month working with your whole area. Yes. April, you need to divide April into attraction at the beginning and then consideration. This is not something that goes separately. You can do it alongside, but just like keep in mind that you can put the same people into doing attraction and consideration at the same time. And especially as we have Semana Santa, I think it's the second week of April. It will be like really good if during this the first week of April you do a lot of attraction and some consideration activities, so that the EPs are able to talk with their families during Semana Santa and you can convert them. Um, And also in April, it's the third month as VPs, and it's the middle between winter and summer. So like you are almost in summer and you need to start planning value delivery, especially like organizing legalities, starting to check which EPs have flights, vaccines, which ones need visa, etc. Because if you don't have things clear, and if everything is a messy, it will be like really the worst in May. So please like start figuring it out. And like I don't know if you know the 4 stages of learning, but in April it's the moment where your team leaders and members should start to be more independent. So first you do and your team leaders or members watch, then you do and they help, then they do and you help, and in April they should be able to do and you just like watch and give some directives. Yeah. Okay. In May, it's like the May it's the month for consideration. So you should have a huge amount of EPs to convert from March and April. And in May, I don't know, plan 3 info sessions, plan weekly coffee seductions with your EPs, but convert because you have really few spots left. Like projects start to be scarce and it's really difficult to find a really good project, and you'll need to start having value delivery figured out in terms of OPS, legalities. The value delivery summit will be happening probably at the end of May. So please have everything clear because summer is almost there. And also there will be probably a campaign from the MC such as Dos por Uno or Viaja con un amigo, etc. to give a final push to the EPs that are still doubting between going and no. So now the first quarter is gone. A quarter are the first 3 months, and summer is almost there. For June, it's the beginning of the value delivery, so like the beginning of the realization peak. And I would advise to divide your members or team leaders into priorities. For example, one team can be more in charge of the preparation of the EPs, another one of consideration, etc. And in June, it's really, really, really visible how very few spots are left or opportunities. And you should be doing your first OPS with the EPs that are going to be realized at the end of June or beginning of July. And June, I had the feeling of having to do a lot of things and no time, also because I had exams. So try to advance to those bottlenecks that will be arising in your way, such as exams, holidays, etc. And do the things before or delegating to your team leaders, but don't go crazy, okay? Okay, July and August are the peak of realizations, and usually you will be quite alone. So, like your members and team leaders will be either gone because their position is over, or they will be in holidays, um, traveling or working or whatever, and you will be quite alone in terms of a team to work with. So I don't know if you foresee that you will have a lot of EPs realizing during the summer and that you won't be able to manage all of them. Create a summer team or distribute the responsibilities with your members and team leaders so they have clear what they have to do during the summer, okay? And also you will be in charge of controlling realizations, finish and complete, and of helping the EPs in all the problems that may arise during their experience. Summer will happen, and also you will be replanning the new peak. So like because summer peak ends at the end of July and you will need to do another planning, so like replan the numerical goals that you planned now in January, and also decide your structure for the winter peak. In the summer, it's really beautiful because you will see what you have been working for, so like the experience is happening, but it can also be quite frustrating or chaotic if you don't have things organized. So support your EPs during the experience, and also try to rest a little bit, like enjoy summer because it's also really important. Yes. Okay, September. After the realization peak, it's time to ensure that quality experiences happen, and this goes through the reintegration seminar or RIS. In this seminar, you will have all the returnees or all the EPs that return from the experiences, and they will be giving feedback, and you will be closing the experience and achieving the completes. Um, this is like something that also you need to tell them before they go into an experience, because something really usual is that after they finish the global volunteer they forget about Isaac, and you don't hear anything about the EP anymore. So align with them this reintegration seminar before everything happens. Okay, also, it's time to start admission for Winter Peak, to onboard your members and team leaders, and establish the new LC to LC relationships, taking into account summer peak results. Really, that this second peak will be much better because you much easier also because you will already have the experience from summer peak, but sometimes it can also be a little bit tricky because although you're doing the same, it's not the same at all. Yeah, so it's like a new beginning. You have the opportunity to learn from your mistakes, replan, with more knowledge, of course, and being more effective. And it's the time. It's like the moment to learn and achieve your goals finally. If you haven't achieved them on summer peak, but I'm sure you will have done it. Also, the winter peak is really, really, really short because September and October are with admission, onboarding, and like you don't feel that you're working with your whole team, and then it's just November and December because January will be already like part of your successors team. Okay, so everything needs to go like really smooth and really fast in the winter peak because you don't have a lot of time. So in October, admission should be finished. You will having the local induction conferences, so like the new teams. I advise, as I did in the summer peak, to do an area meeting during your coaching visit and to engage your newbies to go to Ignite, which is the conference happening in the middle of October, and also focus a lot on attraction during October. And during winter peak, keep on mind that you need to ensure pipeline in terms of vice president, team leaders, and team members. So it's also like important that you give them more responsibility or more tasks so that they can feel if they want to apply or not. Okay. November, it's the time of Black Friday campaign and another IXP. And for vice presidents, it's the time to ensure pipeline and also the highest peak of approvals in winter peak. In for this, like IXP can really happen, and it's the final months with your EB and your team, so take a lot of time to be with your EB, with your team leaders, because in 2 months you won't have them anymore. Okay. And finally, December, it's the time to convert the people from the previous months, and from the attraction that you did in October and beginning of November. It's the time to finally convert them before the end of the year, and also it's the time for EB elections and transition. So you should start to work with your successor, to teach him or her how to do everything, and also like have a time to appreciate what you have achieved and congratulate yourself, and also start planning for the future. So like what will happen after you finish your BP experience. And finally, January is a really weird month because you should delegate almost everything into your successor so that he or she can start feeling what is the position about, understanding how to work with team leaders and members, and you will be a support for him or for her. And also, January should be about attraction and starting admission. So this is more or less the whole timeline of oGV during the year. But again, if you have any doubts, questions, or something wasn't clear, don't hesitate to contact me, okay? This is my number, and I hope I helped you. Goodbye, and thank you for listening.